namaste and good morning to all the teachers from Sri Lanka. It's such a big privilege and opportunity for two of us, Kalpana ji and for me to, come up at this platform and share our knowledge and things with the teachers from another country. So that is the privilege that we got it. So for this, I'd like to thank Janaka ji for setting up this platform so that we can do learning and teaching from different countries through this platform. So today's topic is effective teaching techniques and special health care for children in Nepal. So first part I would be sharing with you all. So I would be basically covering the topic in teaching and learning in Nepal especially. So I would like to introduce myself as Surina Sunayani Gurung. I'm the principal of Galaxy Public School. It is one of the prestigious schools located in the capital city of Kathmandu, that is capital city of Nepal, that is Kathmandu. And the school was established in 1986. That is 36 years back, with our founder principal, Mrs. Geeta Chetri Rana, who is still the chairperson of the school, and she's the role model for all the teachers and all the management team of the whole school. And I also represent Quest Nepal as a vice president. And it is with this privilege that I had taken my children, my 10 students in 2017. There was a very huge event in Sri Lanka in 2017. And it was a huge event of Students Quality Circle. And there was a gathering of, all the students from different countries. And Nepal had got the opportunity to participate. And from Nepal, we had a delegate of around 75 to 80 people joining and participating in 20th ICSQC 2017. And it was held in Sabargamua province. And it was a wonderful, wonderful program. We have lots of memories, meeting lots of teachers in that event and the organizing team. And it was a successful program. And let us go back to the my presentation. So I've broken down my presentation into 3 parts. That is, these 3 parts are the very important entity for teaching and learning process. So first is teacher, second is student, and third is environment, which is which plays a holistic part of, thing that is very important for delivering quality education to the students. So I'm starting with the teacher. So in a general, a teacher means a person who helps students to acquire knowledge, competence, and virtue. So these 3 words, that is knowledge, competence, and virtue itself, is a very heavy word. So knowledge means a fact or information or skills, that is required through experience or education. Or you can also say knowledge as a theoretical and practical understanding of a subject that is provided in a curriculum. And another second one is competence. And competence is in a way that we think that we know that it's the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. And virtue is again a bigger term, meaning that, it shows a kind of a behavioral pattern with high moral standards. So if you define a teacher with these 3 words, knowledge, competence, and virtue, you might think that a teacher is someone who has a power like a god and goddesses, isn't it? So a teacher is someone who is socially respectable job also in our society. So that means a teacher has a bigger role to play in a society. So in our society, in general, we call them as a musician as well. Okay, because our parents, what they think is that as soon as they drop their child to the school from 9 to 5, everything will happen to the child. That child will learn, that child is going to be a better person, better citizenship, is going to, increase his or her intelligence, knowledge, competence, and virtue. So we are kind of a magician in our society. So we have to, meet a lot of expectation from different parents that are in our society. So in general, let us do some interactive thing also. So as a teacher, I'd like to say that most of you are the participants who are participating here are teachers. Why did you become a teacher? Anybody wants to tell me? Anybody wants to share me why you wanted to become a teacher? You took the job as a teacher, anything like that? Anyone can answer that. Any teachers would want to tell me that why you want to become a teacher?
Teacher is in terms someone who build the nation, so we can help to build the nation. With becoming a teacher, we can help our country and help the future of the country, and it's also a great deed, I guess.
Okay, this is Purnima ji, you told this answer?
Yes, yes.
Okay, it's wonderful, wonderful. I think majority of the answers that you gave me is something that all the teachers have this kind of perseverance within themselves, that they want to make change in the society or want to do something for the kids, isn't it? So I think this is very important that the teacher should have this kind of quality. So let us go to another slide. So I want you all to check this slide, and there are various we all are, somewhere, somehow we have become a teacher, and it's because of some changes that we want to do in the society, or you want to work for the student, or want to have a steady job, or, take up this profession as a, to earn the income, or it can be any reason. So if majority of you think that it's number A, is that improve the society, then you may be an idealist. Okay, and this type really cares about the making a difference, not just to the students, but to the society in a general. Or by saying this, they see improving social justice as a key part of the role, or these teachers are also attracted to the job because they love their subject and have desire to work with young people. Or in a general, what I can say is they want to create a citizens that are responsible for the social justice in the society, or want to bring change in the society. So this can be one reason. And another reason is to bring out a person who is very smart and good and represents a society or changes the society with a high moral values. So because number A category, idealist teachers would want to change the society in a way. So if your answer is B, that is to help the student, then you may be a practitioner. And this type of interest is interested in contributing to the development of their own students. They are in the profession because they want to be a teacher. They enjoy their craft because they are confident and they are committed to the job. Practitioners are also strong believers in the importance of continued professional development. So these B category teachers that who think themselves as a practitioners, they love what they do. They are also into professional development because they want to keep on learning all the time and to maintain professional credentials such as academic degree to formal coursework. They attend a lot of conferences, formal learning opportunities. They do not want to miss anything. And they attend a lot of trainings, workshop, and have, kind of a drive, and also have a kind of a drive, or have a friend circle who are also of the same type that would want to increase their professional credentials. And number C, if you think that you are a C type of a teacher that is more into, practical kind of teacher, and then you may be a rationalist. This type of teacher join the profession for practical reasons. They believe they can make a difference, but are also pragmatic. Pragmatic meaning that they deal with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. So they realize that they need a job with a good pay and holidays as well. Okay, and these factors play a very vital role in keeping them in the profession, as does their enjoyment of school culture. They do want to enjoy their life, they do want to spend time with their family members, and they do want to have a kind of a job that is respectable in the society And at the same time, they also enjoy the school culture as well. So these three types of, if you think that you belong to these three types, it's okay. But there's another type also, that is number D, meaning that they are the mix of all these three categories. They also want to change the society. They also want to help the students. And they also want to have the same time want to have a steady career. So that is number, number, this is supposed to be D, okay? D, the moderate one. That means they are the type of teacher who are the even practical than what number C is saying. Okay, and these are these are the type of teachers isn't likely to raise strong opinions in the staff room. It's Mr. and Mrs. Middle of the road. That means they are quite okay with the job given, and they're quite okay with the consequences and the result that they have, given towards the school management. There is no one factor that brings them into the profession. In fact, they are motivated by many things. Okay, it can be socially, mentally, physically, anything to do with their growth, from a love to the subject to the need for the job, and they stay for a range of a region, meaning that they have a lot of reasons to take this profession as a teacher. Half of this group is open-minded about where they work in terms of location, while the other half makes the decision after considering personal and school-specific factors. They are, however, more likely to move because of their family or partners. That means they are more pragmatic type of teachers that are likely to move ahead with their social movement of the family and partners as well. So there are 4 types of teachers. So I want you all to categorize yourself as to which category you belong to and what type of teacher, what type of behavioral pattern you have to determine yourself as what kind of teacher you would want to be. Okay, and I have taken this all reference from the you can see here in the screen. I've taken from here, theguardian.com, and it's a wonderful platform to know or to update yourself about teaching and learning styles and everything. So you can take down this in a notebook if you have it. And let us go to another topic, that is, now we know that there are different type of teachers, and we have different ideas, we have different behaviors, we have different opinions. So being a different type of teacher itself is a kind of a boon for the school, because if all the teachers would have had the same ability, then it would not be fun, because everything we need to do needs a collaboration, and different ideas bring up beautiful idea itself. So yet teachers have no choice but try to teach. And also we have to understand that, having a different kind of teachers, we also should know that there are different kind of students as well, and different kind of students respond to different approaches, different strategies and ways. A single teaching style with similar teaching strategies would definitely not work the same for all the students inside one class. So I think while a demanding teacher will resonate incredibly well for students who flourish under pressure, the same style would be detrimental. It does not work to those who need a calmer or reward-based approach to learn better. As an educator, the first thing you have to do on meeting a student, this is very important to all of us, is that whenever we enter the class, our first time when we enter the class, we should always observe the classroom, meaning that there are different kind of students inside the classroom, and we should always access his or her need, each and everyone's individual need, figure out what makes them move, and work out on the best way to approach them. This is the best quality of the teacher, something that needs to be done before the teacher starts a classroom. And let us go to B, that is another entity is student now, the one who is devoted to learning and is a learner. So now when you are teaching inside a classroom, everybody knows that students learn in different ways, like all some learn it visual through our visual learners, some are auditory learners, some are verbal learners, some are physical learners, some understand maths easily, that are logical learners, and some are social, they learn through group work and through collaboration, and some are solitary learners, like they would want to work solitary, they are also called solicites. And in general, in Asian country, like a majority of the school, they follow three main cognitive learning styles that are visual, auditory, and physical. And in Nepal also, we are basically focusing on this three part in order to deliver teaching and learning process. So while defining a student, after knowing the quality through which they learn, is like we can define student as a scholar, novice, one who attends a school, or one who attends a school to do better, to gain knowledge, to learn, to be competent. Those three words: competence, to increase the competent virtue, and to be skilled, successful. These are very important, and majority of the parents' demand is to do better in the summative and formative evaluations, which is also a basic part, which is also the main important part for the child to attend the school. So this is the definition of student, and we can define student according to our culture, according to our tradition, anything we like. And also the student we can categorize according to the different ages. So you can see in the picture, even just a small born infant is a student, whereas even a grandmother who is given on the right hand side is also a student. So students have no age. From the day they are born till the day they die, they are still a person who keeps on learning. So let us go to the types of students, and this is a kind of a general aptitude towards as to as soon as you enter the classroom, you have to study them. You have to study because each and every child has a different demand, and each and every child is, different from one another. You cannot compare them. As soon as you enter the classroom, you exactly know after a week that you can categorize students into different types. And according to this type, the one type of the students are the overachievers, that they always run for their marks. They want to do better. They are the outstanding students inside the class. So these kind of students are not a problem, but if their activities, is is more of a scene type inside the classroom, that also is degrading for the class environment. So how to deal with them? They are always good in everything. They finish the work very fast. They are, responsive in all the questions that you raise. So for them, how to deal with them? Because they are also the part of the classroom. You cannot neglect them, because and as soon as you give them the work, they are the one who finishes the work extremely fast. Okay, so that's a kind of a problem for the teacher sometimes. So the two strategies work best when dealing with overachievers. So first, since the priority is the marks, so take away numerical grades. Okay, and the number two is rewarding them for taking support roles. So do not give them the role that has a leader, they lead the classroom or they lead the group. Do not give them a leader's task. So rather give them a supportive roles, and give assignments that will not earn your students any points. Instead, give insightful comments on the output that are more qualitative rather than quantitative. Because if you reward them with the qualitative remarks, like you have done very good, you have done excellent work, or you have to work very hard, you were doing good, but you can do better than this. So this kind of remarks is going to work for the overachievers. This will encourage your overachiever to pour in more effort and thought into the learning process instead of just competing for top scores. Now there are another kind of students that are we call the compliant, and the compliant are more or less have the habit like that of a overachiever, but then they're not a problematic students. Compliance do not stand out too much in a crowd. They as they are often misled as mediocre or average students. But in truth, in fact, these are the students who simply do not understand why they have to be in their class. The lack of motivation is what's stopping them from doing better, even though they are perfectly capable of doing so, but they do not show themselves. Even they have a confusion, even if they don't understand inside the classroom, they really don't show up, and they don't want to be seen inside the class. So you have to make your class relevant to them. So this is the demand for the teachers to keep with the compliant student as well. Keep in mind that the only problem with compliance is that they already know what they want to do in their life. They just don't see how you can help with it. Once you successfully show that there are things they can pick up from your class that they can use later in life, they will show more interest and will likely to exceed bare minimum compliance. They just need an extra, pat on their shoulders so that they can move ahead. They're a little bit kind of lost inside the classroom, but they do understand what is being taught inside the class, but they do not feel like sharing what they have gained. So this is how you deal with the compliant students. So another is soloist, meaning they would want to do everything alone. They don't like to do work in the group. And this is a problem for the teachers, because even if you give them a task to do together, and they are the ones who hesitate to do work together with the group work, and they would rather present a project or anything given single-handedly. So how to deal with them? It's all a matter of convincing them that working with other people is not too bad. Your one and only goal is to come up with activities that they cannot possibly do alone. You have to convince that person that this is the work that you cannot do alone. You have to do with a group. So one such classroom group activity could be to form a band. And this is one example that you can involve a child into a band, because band is something like a playing a musical instrument. You cannot play one instrument, but you need a combination and amalgamation of all the musical instrument that needs to play together, and it take out a very fine tune. So it's a kind of a group works, and to report a certain topic through a musical performance. So if you include such kind of a child who likes to work alone, give them a project to make a song or perform, then I think this is going to help a child that we need to work in collaboration with the team. If after engaging them in fun group activities, your soloist remains a soloist, then there is a problem. It might be time to look into other factors as to why he or she chooses to spend time alone. This could be a sign of bullying or other social problems. So you have to deep into it by communicating with the child if there is any problem, and to know his family problem as well. Okay, so the teacher has to forecast a lot of things for a child, and their need as well. So for the soloists, these are some of the activities that you can deal with them. And the another type is the troublemaker. Now, I think by saying this, most of the teachers have already that one child in their mind that is a kind of a troublemaker inside the classroom. So firstly, you have to understand where the behavior is coming from. So there are many reasons as to why the child is behaving in such a way. Some troublemakers do it to gain attention, that I think the child wants to be seen from the group, to gain attention. This could be coming from deep-seated neglected in the household, because he wasn't paid attention inside the family matters or inside the family. So probably he want to show that he also exists there. Others do it because they are simply struggling with the subject matter, but are too embarrassed to admit it. They would rather be branded as a troublemakers than sloggers. Means if they do not want to be like a snail in a classroom, or the one who does work very slow or don't understand. So that's the reason why they have turned themselves into a troublemakers, or kind of a bully inside the classroom. So what to do with them? Build empathy. To understand, you have to communicate with them. Build an empathy. It's the hardest thing to do, especially with the troublemakers of the classroom, and sympathize with someone who is, rude, disruptive, and disrespectful. But if you really want your class to leave a lasting impression on your troublemaker, you have to do it anyways, and there is no other option. And because you have to create that kind of relationship with the troublemaker in order to understand his or her feelings and finding the root of the problem. What is the root cause of him or her acting so rudely or disturbing the class, or not doing his homework or not doing his classwork? So another thing is, we cannot scream or cry or yell at them, because this is only going to worsen the situation, and it's not going to create a very amicable and lovable relationship with the between student and a teacher and a troublemaker making students. So these are some of the uh, activities that we need to imply in our classroom in order to deal with the troublemakers. So another type of students are the quiet achievers. Okay, these are not really a problem inside the classroom, that really don't disturb. But if the teacher, being a teacher, if we do not, answer to the if we do not answer to the quiet achiever, then we are the failures. So a long, deep talk about the importance of being able to sell one's skills is key when dealing with the quiet achievers, because quiet achievers, when they are inside the classroom, they are the one who do not ask any question if they don't know, do not like to share their ideas which they have, and they already have the skills, but they just have to be willing to put themselves out there. If talking doesn't help, more drastic measures have to be taken. For one, might have to assign them to be the class captain, or this is one of the idea, to let the quiet achiever collaborate with the rest of the team or the rest of his peers inside the classroom, so that he or she can really interact with everyone and share his or her feelings as well. This way, they have no choice but to definitely they have to interact with the students and take on the leadership role, which can again showcase and hone their social skill. You can also try making a homework fun and engaging in order to slowly coax your quiet achiever out of his or her shell. So you have to let that person come out of the shell and interact with everyone. So get her or him involved in a lot of group activities, make them leaders, or give them certain roles inside the classroom. So there are 5 kind of students that I just shared with everyone. So if you want to know about them, more about this, you can also check the web page that is given at the bottom of this screen, colormelearning.com. You can go there and check there as well. Now, next part, which is very important. Now, without this, it's impossible for the teachers and students to coordinate with each other for anything. And for environment, if you define environment, it's the circumstances, object, or condition by which one is surrounded. So if anybody wants to have a wonderful environment, how do you define environment? Okay, how to define learning environment, which is very, very important. I'm going to read from the screen here. Learning environments can be student, learner-centered, knowledge-centered, assessment-centered, and community-centered. Now, if you look at the classroom of a preschool, children who are studying from age group of 2 till 6 or 7, let us say, it's very vibrant, it's very colorful, there are lots of toys. Everything that they are studying are, the size is bigger because their hands are small. And there are a lot of toys that is more or less, thing to do with their motor, eye movement, physical movement, hand movement, things like that. So, and if you look into the classroom, which is of, secondary level, let us say class 8, 9, and 10, it's more or less like a, setup. The setup is such a way that, it's more teacher-centered classroom. So it's according to which that you can define the learning environment. So sometimes it's assessment centered. For assessment centered, classroom can be more or less like a lecture classroom, where a teacher is teaching and the students are focusing towards the teacher, and they are more into, doing successful, doing success in their formative and summative examinations or evaluations. So according to the age group, you can define the learning environment of every child. A good learning environment offers a safe platform for learners. Before you can expect learners to succeed academically, they should also feel safe, both mentally and physically. So because we are living in the COVID-19 world right now, because the safety and security of our students are very, very important. So that's the reason why children are learning from the e-platform, that is learning through, internet and computers. So this is because the safety is very, very important to us. So why learning environment is important? Learning environment plays a crucial role in student success, because success and being efficient is very, very important in every society. Students who study in a positive learning environment have been shown to be more motivated, engaged, and have a higher overall learning ability. So those students who are, taught taught in a way that, fully understand the course curriculum, in various various ways have been taught to the child, then the child is probably going to be a successful person in the future. So these are some of the important factors that affect learning process. And learning process, why I'm focusing on this is because this is very important to what Kalpana ji is going to say after me. So I would like to share this also, because learning process is very, very important for the child to understand, to leverage their knowledge. So number one is intellectual factor. Now, intellectual factor is something that intellectual level of a different child is different. Some take it very easily and it's very easy for them to absorb, whereas for some it takes longer period of time and takes a details, ways and strategies to make him understand. So this is why, because the intelligent level is different for different students. So the term refers to the individual mental level. Okay, mental level is different for different students. So success in school is generally closely related to level of the intellect. Pupils with low intelligence often encounter serious difficulty in mastering schoolwork. Sometimes people do not learn because of special intellectual disabilities. So there are certain disabilities which have not been diagnosed till yet. And, sometimes we are just nagging a child in a way that they have to bring a very good result in the examinations. So the teacher need to understand firstly a child intellectual level. Then only we can, introduce a kind of a teaching and learning system for that particular child. And sometimes child may be very good in mathematics, but the child is not good in science. So there are many ways the intelligent level can be defined in such a way. And also, this is very important, special intellectual disabilities. This is something Kalpana ji is going to probably going to define in her presentation. So another is number two is learning factors. Learning factors is kind of a way a child absorbs the things that have been taught to the child. And sometimes if the child is taught in a faulty method or in a faulty way, or in a way that is not in a proper way, not in a segregated way, and when the proper background is not given for understanding certain subject, the child don't understand anything. For example, I'd like to give an example in mathematics. Like, for instance, basic knowledge of addition is very, very essential for the successful understanding of multiplication or doing multiplication. And if the child is not given knowledge about addition and directly taken for multiplication, then the child is in her or his life is never going to understand mathematics forever. So this is a certain things that the teacher need to understand, that everything needs to given stepwise. This is the example of mathematics. So another is physical factors. Physical factors is something like that to do with our body, mind, and soul. And under this group are various factors like physical development, health, nutrition, visual and physical defects, and glandular abnormalities. That is something to do with after diagnosis. It is generally recognized that ill health retards physical and motor development, and nutrition interferes with the learning and physical growth. If the child has certain vitamin deficiencies, also it's going to affect the health. So these are certain things that comes under physical factors. If the child is suffering from visual, auditory, and other physical defects, are seriously handicapped in developing skills such as reading and spelling. For example, in general, if the child is attempting, in general, I'm giving an example, if the child is attempting what do you call history examinations, if the child is attending the history examinations, and then the child needs to be good in English. Okay, so there are a lot of things that complement to one another. And sometimes what happened, the child is supposed to grow according to the age, and it also demonstrate a various development of the pituitary gland, thyroid gland as such. So accordingly, it secretes hormones. So there are a lot of things inside our body that the teacher doesn't see. So if certain kind of things that that you see in a child has to be that are physical or the mental factors, that if the teacher needs to observe a child a lot of times in order to identify these factors, that these are the factors that is hindering in his learning process. So teacher need to be very attentive for these things. So number 4 is mental factors, and mental factors something that usually is not visible, and sometimes it can be visible as such. And the attitude falls under mental factors. Attitudes are made up of organic and kinesthetic, meaning physical elements. And sometimes it can be visible, because if they're physically able to do certain things, it is visible. But when they have certain mental or hormonal change and is affecting the mental factors, then these are something that we cannot see as a teacher. So they are not to be confused with emotions and are characterized by internal disturbances. Attitudes are more or less of definite sort. They play a large part in the mental organization and general behavior of the individuals. So sometimes the mental organization of his child is not stable, then it shows in the work that he or she presents, and then the teacher can identify certain things. Attitudes are also important in the development of personality. Among these attitudes, interest, cheerfulness, affection, prejudice, open-mindedness, and loyalty is also very important. So number 5 is emotional and social factors. The personal factors such as instinct and emotions, and social factors such as cooperation, rivalry, are directly related to the complex psychological of motivation. It is recognized fact that the various responses of the individual to various kinds of stimuli are determined by a wide variety of tendencies. So if the child, if some of the pupils are in the continuing state of unhappiness because of the fear of being victims of disapproval of their teachers and classmates, or some are loners, or some are, don't want to talk or share their feelings or talk less. Also, these are some of the factors of emotional and social behavior. And number 6 is teacher's personality. This is also very important for us being a teacher, that our personality is something that sees by the student or by the management of the school. This is very important element in learning environment or in the failure and success of the learner. As the main consequences, the way in which his personality interacts with the personalities of the pupil being taught help to determine the kind of a behavior which emerges from the learning situation. So we have to present ourselves in such a way that we should be pleasing, properly dressed, comfortable, And we have to have that kind of aura around us so that we are acceptable as a teacher. Number 7 is environmental factors, and it includes everything that is inside the classroom, textbook, equipment, school supplies, and other instructional materials, and especially what do you call lesson plan, plan activities, and everything that is included comes under environmental factors in the school and at the home. In the school are the things that I mentioned, but at home also the amicable environment, the desk and bench where the child does his or her homework, and the lovable environment that the parents are given to a child are all the environmental factors that are going to affect the learning process. So today I'll be stopping till here. Purnimaji? Okay,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the great presentation and done by Mrs. Surina Sunayani Madam. And it's time for question and answer session with her. First question from my side. Is there any tendency to enroll students to private schools instead of government schools? Is it because of English language, or such situation is not there in Nepal?
Okay, yes, I think you have put up a very good question, Purnimaji. I'm going to say in the context of Nepal, right? I think everyone in all the teachers from Sri Lanka would want to know what is happening, what is the educational system in Nepal and how does it go, right? So I'll be answering from the context of Nepal. So in Nepal, according to your question, is that in government school are the schools that are more looked upon by the government and are funded by the government for the whole year for everything regarding textbook, clothes, to the running cost of the school, and everything is looked upon by the government of Nepal here, Ministry of Education. And schools like us, which is run by the private organization with their own money, investing own loan, and doing a lot of things that to meet the teaching and learning possible. And private schools in Nepal are not funded by government, because private schools are in what you can call it as an individual entity, that the owner or the group of people who's running the school has to look upon for every possibility to make the school better. So there's a lot of competition in amongst private school in Nepal, but is good in a good way. It's good, having a competition is good in a good way, because all the private schools in Nepal are bringing in new technology, new strategy, new ways in order to make the teaching and learning process very easy for their students. And English medium is one of the reason that if the child knows English in a way from the younger age, it becomes easy for the child to to go into the international world later on in the future, and it becomes easy for him or her to communicate in English. And that's how the world works. And that's why English, to pay money in a private school, parents do not hesitate, because that's the kind of a facility that the parents have been paying money for. Like, for example, good English coaching, good English subject is being taught there. And not only this, variety of IT activities for the kids, a variety of extracurricular activities for the kids. And also it gives a platform for the students to compete in the international programs. Like I said, that even our school got the privilege to participate in the 20th ICSQC, which was hosted by Sabargamua province. So it gives the international platform for the students to compete or present themselves in the international platform. That's why speaking English and English as a subject has become an integral part of the Nepalese society. And not only this, Ministry of Education has put English as a major subject from classes 1 till till 11 and 12, and it is one of the major subjects that the child needs to take in order to compete themselves in the international society. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, SAGE students?
Finally, I want to ask one question. Then
Yes,
our
sir.
students, we gave group assignments to our students, and we gave the countries in the South Asian region to study ECCD sector in those countries. One group did about the Nepal, and I sent videos to you. Then they are here. I like to hear your feedback about that videos and about their studies about the Nepal education. And yeah, I think that students, you can ask any question from the principal of the Nepal, and I like to get her feedback about your presentation. Yeah.
Thank you, Janakaji. Janakaji did send me a YouTube video. The teachers had done a wonderful job. I'm really impressed. There are a lot of data and a lot of information given about early childhood education in Nepal, which even I did not know. So it was a kind of revision for me, because after knowing a lot of things about my own country also, I missed out a lot of things. And the teachers have done a wonderful job. I'm really impressed with how they have done the study of the government schools of early childhood education, and they have done the private education, private schools research on early childhood education. So it's quite impressive, and this is a kind of a research work that they have done, which needs to be applauded. And I did give some feedback, and it's nothing to do with the context, but only there was only date mistake was there, I think. That is it. But I must say that the teachers have done wonderful job, Janakaji. I'm really happy that your institute has been creating wonderful teachers, and these teachers are like an armor of your country, and they are going to make good citizens later on. So there is nothing to comment on, but only good comment for all the teachers who did a very good video and compilation research of the early childhood education in Nepal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because as an institute, we focus not only the Sri Lanka or the global market. We want to produce the teachers for the global market, and always
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, always we focus the project-based teacher learning environment. Always I advise to the teachers also, you don't teach. You make a good environment to learn the students. I will follow the philosophy. Always I make a good background to them to learn and to teach both.
Exactly.
Then
Yes, exactly, Janakaji. Yes.
yeah, and thank you very much. Thanks to you for on behalf of our institute also. Thank you very much. Okay. And then Purnima will continue.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Surina Gurung, for the great presentation and the very speed questions and answer session we had. And we learned a lot from you, and we thank you again.